9:15 now on the Money Watch. Financial problems can really take a toll on a marriage. Fox 35's Lauren Johnson dug deeper to find the top mistakes most people make.
Fox 35 Money Watch, a money mess can ruin a marriage. A new study says couples that argue over finances once a week are 30% more likely to get divorced. Joining us this morning is Bert from Certified Financial Group. Let's start with number one.
Sure.
I think not talking enough about finances would cause some problems, right?
It is. You know, aside from money, you know what the other next major issue that breaks up a marriage?
What?
Think. Money and
sex.
You got it. I'm not Dr.
Sex.
Phil, so we'll talk about the money today.
Okay, we'll keep the money to you.
You got it. You got it.
So you got to talk about it. It's one of those.
Yeah, you have to have the conversation. You know, unfortunately, people have two incomes, sometimes one income, but money comes in, goes out, and if you don't decide how it's going to be spent, who's in charge, what's going to happen, you really have a disaster. So you really need a discussion.
No matter how awkward it is.
No, you have to talk about it.
Okay. And number two, thinking you can buy love. So a materialistic man thinks I'm going to buy her love. That's not going to work.
No, it doesn't. Maybe in the short run, maybe you get what you want short term, but in the long run, it's usually a recipe for disaster. If it takes spending money to buy love, you've got the wrong marriage.
Absolutely. Yep. You need a new wife / husband, right? Okay, ignoring conflicting spending habits. Explain that one.
Well, it's the penny pincher versus the spendthrift, you know, and you need to understand if you have that relationship, who's the one that spends the money, who's the one that wants to save the money. And oftentimes, couples marry opposites. So if you don't recognize who's who in the marriage, you have trouble. And you need to talk about it. You know, you're the one that likes to spend, you're the one that likes to save. What do we need to do to compromise?
Sometimes is it tough for a man to relinquish that power to the woman?
It works both ways. It works both ways. You know, sometimes a woman thinks she's in charge of the checkbook, and many households they are. Man brings home the money, the woman spends it, but if she's not spending it wisely, and he doesn't think she's spending it wisely, you got troubles.
Yeah.
So it all gets back to communication.
Got to communicate. Okay, right. Number four, not agreeing on how to divide the money up.
Yeah, in other words, what are we going to have? His account, her account, or our account? How are we going to run this operation? Money comes in, does it go in one account, or are we going to have my spending money, your spending money, and big purchase money going to go in a joint account? Once again, it gets down to communication.
If people ask you, Joe, do you have to have an our account? Is it okay to have individual accounts?
Sure it is, as long as you understand who's responsible for what.
Okay.
That's the key.
Okay. And last but not least, taking on too much debt.
This is the number one thing.
Yeah.
You know, you want to buy stuff, you see stuff, particularly around the holidays, which we just went through, Lauren, you know, you use that plastic, and that is the number one killer in marriages. It's having that debt, because then you have the pressure. Then you start to get the phone calls, and things begin to unravel.
All right.
Not good.
Got to be smart about how we make money decisions in marriage.
All the time.
All right. Joe Bert, thank you so much.
You're welcome.